Welcome to the Forum, your way to keep up with state and community leaders, experts, and local business leaders. This is your chance to hear from and talk to people that affect your life right here in Rim Country. You can express your opinions by calling 474-2427. And remember, the comments and opinions of guests and callers are not necessarily the opinions of KMOG. Welcome to Rim Country Forum.
Indeed, welcome to the Rim Country Forum. This is Matt the Lone Wolf, and I am sitting here with former mayor and candidate for Gila County Sheriff, Mr. Tom Morrissey. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Matt.
Wonderful to have you here. And we also have in attendance candidate for mayor, Steve Otto. Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
Well, we have a very exciting show, and we hope that you would like to be part of it. Before we get rolling, though, I'd like to thank the sponsors who make the show possible. The Owens Law Firm, HS3 Roof King, Pinnacle Propane, the Banner Payson Medical Center, Dana Law Group, Peak Dermatology, Aesthetics, and Wellness. Thank you very much to our sponsors. Well, Tom, what's going on?
Oh,
a lot, right?
As usual, you know, in town of Payson, in the county, Gila County, there's always a lot of things going on, both good and bad. And we try to keep the balance so that one is not overwhelmed by the other. And I can say that in generic terms, but there are things I'm discovering as I'm campaigning for sheriff that are sobering. And they even give me more impetus to continue on with the campaign. There are things that the sheriff can do. I don't know how many people listening know my background, but I was asked recently what is a town sheriff, what is a town mayor doing running for county sheriff? And I said the question should be, what is a Deputy U.S. Marshal doing running for town mayor? Because my career, my law enforcement career, was a combination, a full tour as a deputy sheriff, chief deputy marshal, and I keep throwing the word sheriff in front of me. The thing is, I came up to the ranks to the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal. As a matter of fact, I was the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal for the entire Federal District of Arizona. And in that capacity, I experienced a lot. I got to interact internationally. I worked internationally. I worked DEA warrants for major warrants for 8 years. So I worked all over the country, attached to different police departments as part of a task force. Worked the Caribbean, I worked Mexico, and I worked in Singapore. I worked in Asia. So I understand that aspect, and that aspect. We had a conversation just before coming into the studio. We being Steve Otto and I, and we had. I understand the cartels, the way the cartels work. I understand the market for the drugs. I understand the filter that they use to distribute the drugs. Again, in the mindset of the people that use them. And I will put that to work as when I'm elected sheriff. This is not the same country that we had even 3 years ago. Everything has changed dramatically. And there are things that we are facing today that many of us believe we never would face in our country, yet we are. And we haven't seen, this is just the tip of the iceberg for what's coming at us. And we have to be prepared. And I feel, I absolutely know that I know how to handle this. And I'm not running against anyone or anything. I am running for. Sure. I'm looking down the road, and I will damn well get us prepared for what's coming. And part of the reason why I've invited Steve Otto on the show today is that I want to work in partnership with the leadership, the county supervisors, with the mayors of the towns and cities in the county. And I know Steve, and Steve and I have not always agreed on things, but I know him to be a man of courage. And he is a researcher, and he demonstrates tremendous leadership qualities. So with that, Steve, you can give me the $20 after the show. All right?
With that lead in, 20's cheap. So
okay, and so Steve, welcome to the show, and I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to get in here because. The events, as you laid out, it isn't the same country it was 3 years ago. We have announcements coming from the governor that migrants are going to be released. They're closing shelters, and they're going to be released to rural Arizona. I've got a paper here I printed off the NPR website, and it says why the U.S. government is dropping off migrants in rural Arizona towns. They're not sending the resources to handle these people. The migrants are overwhelming hospitals in rural Arizona. And as a candidate for mayor, this isn't a problem that stops at the town limits. The cartels and the migrants and the people who are illegal coming here don't recognize the international borders, they don't recognize county borders, and they don't recognize the town limits. So we have to form coalitions with everybody involved. And so many times it's, well, we're the town of Payson, we don't talk to the county. The town police don't talk to the tribal police. That's got to stop.
Silos.
Very
siloed, yeah.
We have to get where we recognize the problem and we put resources and policies in place to deal with it on a systemic basis.
Absolutely. Well, you're listening to the Rim Country Forum. We're here with candidate for sheriff, Gila County Sheriff Tom Morrissey, and also candidate for mayor, Stephen Otto. And we do have a phone call, so caller, welcome to the Rim Country Forum. Who is on the line?
Good morning. This is Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Chris.
I get one phone call, but do I get two questions to each gentleman?
Knock yourself out.
Okay.
Try to make them brief, Chris.
Absolutely.
We got a huge agenda. Go ahead.
Mayor Morrissey, you just said something that struck me in that you understand the mindset of the drug user, and I know that that's a convenient excuse for the drug providers to say if there was no demand for use, there would be no supply.
Right.
That's my question to you. And Mr. Otto, do you have a strong feeling about the relationship between a non-elected official of our town and elected members of, say, the council? And would you be willing to delve into that relationship?
Steve, why don't you answer that, and I'll answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll hang up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I do have strong feelings about elected officials. The structure of Payson town government is a strong town manager and a weak mayor, and that puts constraints on the council members and the mayor. The mayor is one vote. The mayor gets no perks. The mayor doesn't have a super veto power. So going into the office of mayor, I am going to rely on town staff to provide the information I need to make serious decisions that impact Payson and Payson residents. And I'm going to demand that the unelected people are forthright in that information, and they're not shading it for a specific agenda. And as long as everybody is being upfront and honest, I'm not going to have a problem with anybody.
Okay, and my response to Chris's first question was the mindset of the people that use drugs. Before I got into law enforcement, I was in a couple of hit rock bands, and traveled all over the country, worked with record promoters and things like that. And I was surrounded by people that were using drugs. I did not. There were many reasons for that, but I did not. But I understood because my close friends were. It was mostly pot, and the psychedelics, but I didn't do that. And a lot of they were very suspicious of me. A lot of people, in that culture, because they thought I was a narc, and so but the reason, one of the many reasons, was I'm a lifetime martial artist. I don't drink and I don't do drugs to this day. I teach martial arts, but that was alien to anything that I was doing in the martial arts, and I was very, very disciplined in that. But it was funny because years after, well, not that long after, when I became a U.S. Marshal, they say, I thought so. I knew it, right? But the thing is, the mindset is that they use it. It's used as an escape. It's used as an excuse, and a lot of them is a result of prescribed drugs that people get hooked on and they can't get afterwards. And Matt, you and I were talking about something like that had to do with you personally.
Indeed, it's a very powerful, gripping substance.
Yeah,
that gets a hold of you and just overrules your entire train of thought.
Yeah, it owns.
Yeah,
it owns the people. So, hope that answers your question, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to go right back to the phones. Caller, welcome to the Rim Country Forum. This is Matt. Who am I speaking with?
Good morning. This is Inga.
Good morning.
Hello, Inga.
Good morning.
Hi, guys. First of all, Tom, I respect you a lot. You love this country. You love the Constitution. You love this town. And your heart is in the right place.
Thank you.
So I am so glad that you are awakening people to, some of the things that are happening to this country. And Steve, I've known you to be a straightforward, fearless researcher. You do not share anything that you do not have proof of. And this is what I feel we need, not just in this town, but in this state, in this county, and in this country. I have one dumb question, however. You all know that I did not learn to speak English until I was 12. So here's my question. Verbiage is a big thing with me. Growing up, I always heard that migrants were field workers who lived south of the border, came across to work the fields, collect their paycheck, and go back. And that illegals were people who came illegally, didn't work. They just came and disseminated. So why is the society today calling illegals migrants? That puzzles me. Hopefully somebody can answer that for me. I'm always learning. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Inga.
Okay, well, Inga, it probably is the result of what's called political correctness. And political correctness is the thing that's going to wreck us, right? I wrote a song with that title, and it's musical. But it is, people don't want to offend many people in the media and, in the talking heads. They don't want to offend people. So they don't look at things realistically, and that's contagious because, we watch TV, we go to movies and everything, and that is all conditioning, especially in today's world. Our media and what Hollywood is putting out, and it I think has really been the genesis of this whole woke thing that's going on.
Well,
and
go ahead.
And that in itself, woke should be called ridiculous because there's no common sense. Common sense is not common anymore. And it's completely void of that. And so what happens is people start thinking things are normal that are not normal, and they are destructive. And if it's allowed to go on, this country is going to be taken down.
Right. Well, Jake from the January 6th protest spoke at the Tea Party, and he talked about neuro-linguistic programming. And it's the association of a word and an emotion. It's like when CNN is showing riots in Minneapolis with buildings burning, and they're saying mostly peaceful protests, they're programming people. They're getting people adapted that certain words mean something different than a traditional explanation for it. So the migrants used to be gypsies. They would follow the crops. They would start in Yuma with the lettuce. They would work the lettuce, and they would end up in Colorado with our lettuce growers. When lettuce season was over, after Colorado, they'd go down to Las Cruces, and then they'd go back to Mexico. And they were migrants because they migrated. That's gone, it appears.
Yeah, indeed, that's how I understood it. So growing up, my aunt actually worked for the federal government, and her role was actually to go out to the fields and make sure that the migrants were receiving appropriate treatment on the job.
Okay.
But that's exactly what they were. They would come, they would follow the crops, they would stay for a limited period of time, put the work in, and then go home. And now that's just not what's happening. But coming up, we're going to be talking about a little bit more on the border and the invasion we're experiencing, the war, in fact, here at home.
Did you know Banner Payson Medical Center has emotional wellness services for adults 55 plus to assist with individual progress after regular treatment ends, supporting struggles with various physical and emotional changes in life. The goal being faster recovery by use of various achievement tools such as activities, discussions, evaluations, and therapy, with focus on dignity, respect, safety, and independence. Quality care to help achieve and maintain an optimal level of functioning. Medicare and most insurance plans are accepted. To learn more about Banner's emotional wellness services, call 928-596-4575. Banner Payson Medical Center, striving hard to make healthcare easier so life can be better right here at home.
Hey, Barb, we've decided to put our house on the market and need to find a really good realtor. Any thoughts?
Oh, yes. You need to call Kim Ross right away. She's fabulous, and we've used Kim several times. Probably one of the most professional realtors we've ever worked with.
Awesome. How do I get a hold of her?
It's easy. Just call her.
Call 928-978-1003 or go to kimross.com.
You are going to love her.
Ponderosa Family Care has served Rim Country residents for over 2 decades, treating patients of all ages. Physicians Dr. Alan Michaels, Dr. Judy Hunt, and Dr. Lauren Washatka cover a variety of specializations, including family medicine, pediatrics, internal medicine, and nephrology. With their many services ranging from weight loss, aesthetics, and bioidentical hormones to behavioral health, telehealth, and more, even home visits when necessary. Located at 127 East Main Street, Suite D in Payson. Call for information and find out how you can become part of the Ponderosa Family Care family. 928-468-8603. 468-8603.
This is Sarah with Arizona Institute of Dermatology and Peak Aesthetics and Wellness, and we are excited to announce the merging of our California and soon Fountain Hills office and becoming the all-new Peak Dermatology, Aesthetics, and Wellness. Our Payson office is located at 127 East Main Street, Suite A, phone number 928-951-0395. For excellent care from Dr. Rex and his professional team, call today 928-951-0395. We can't wait to hear from you.
Well, it's a beautiful 43 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. You're listening to the Rim Country Forum on KMOG. I am Matt the Lone Wolf. I'm sitting in with Tom Morrissey, candidate for Gila County Sheriff, as well as his guest, Stephen Otto, candidate for mayor. And we're going to go right back to the phones because we do have a caller. So thank you for being patient with us. And who do we have on the line?
Good morning. This is Phil.
Good morning.
Morning, Phil.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to say something before I ask my question.
Go ahead.
I've known Tom Morrissey for a long time. There are very few men in this country that I would work for anymore at my age. He's one of them, and the other is a 2-star general that I worked with. I know his law enforcement background quite well. I was also enforcement here in the state for many years. My question is simple. Well, first, about the mayoral position with Steve. Any change in our council and mayoral position would be good for this city.
I agree.
Me
Yes.
too.
Because I'm thoroughly disgusted with their current direction. For Tom, what can you do, Tom, for what's coming? Because we're headed toward a real mess in this country. We need to do something to stop this border influx. Years ago, I worked for an intelligence service where we had a pretty good idea what was going on, who was coming and going, and how much drugs were moving. That agency was disbanded by the Democrats.
Yeah.
What can you do, Tom, as sheriff, to improve and prepare this county for what's potentially coming?
Well, a good question, Phil, and thanks for asking it, and I appreciate your call. I have a very definite plan. I've already started working and putting into process. I firmly believe I'm going to be elected sheriff, and what I see is what you're talking about. As I said earlier, it's just the tip of the iceberg. But here's the thing: awareness is a major tool for anybody in leadership, and I will be as accessible, if even more accessible, as sheriff than I was as mayor. The thing that we lose sight of is that we, the elected, work for the people who elected us, not for the bureaucracy that is unfortunately majorly in control of this country in a very major way. So the thing is to raise that awareness. Also raise the awareness of the county. Bring the county, for me, into one community. That's why Steve's on the show with me today. I believe in partnerships. I will partner with the tribes. I believe in Native American rights. I believe in their sovereignty. I believe in their integrity, and I want them as partners. I want the leadership in the towns and the cities in our county. I want a partnership with other law enforcement agencies. I'm working on a partnership with the man who I believe is going to be the next sheriff of Maricopa County, Jerry Sheridan. I have the endorsement, as a matter of fact, of Jerry and Sheriff Joe Arpaio. I have their endorsements. I have the endorsement of Bob Corbin, who was the Attorney General, Arizona Attorney General, and president of the NRA for 4 years. People like that. Ted Nugent, as a matter of fact, Ted has done an ad for me. The reason why I have them is because I've laid out my plan to them. Now, I don't want who I qualify as the bad guys to know what I'm going to do, but I want the people to understand that I will. I have a record. You can look at it. When I was the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal for the District of Arizona, the federal District of Arizona, which is one of the 10 largest districts in the country, even though our population isn't that. However, when I took over as Chief Deputy here in Arizona, I had a very, very poorly performing district. Okay, within 2 years, I took that from a very poorly performing to one of the top districts in the country. We even got a bonus, which is unheard of in the federal government. But in that capacity, I learned what the power of the federal government is, but I also learned what the power of the federal government is not. And there's a lot of bullying that goes on, that comes down from the federal government, and they cannot bully the county sheriffs. The county sheriff is the only law enforcement entity that does not report to other people. Now, I was a Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal, very powerful. That's a very powerful position. I reported to somebody who reported to somebody who reported to somebody. The head of ATF, the same thing. The head of the FBI, the same thing. The head of DEA, the same thing. The county sheriff reports to the people, and constitutionally has tremendous power in that particular county. Okay, so I understand that, and that is the role. That's the model, the business model I will follow. I intend to have a robust sheriff's posse that will be certified and armed and allowed to perform certain duties. I intend to assign deputy sheriffs to all areas of the county, and hopefully eventually they will live there. But that will be their responsibility, and they will be backed up by the posse. I intend to bring more positions to the deputy positions. I intend to get better equipment. I intend to work in concert with Maricopa County, all the sheriffs that border our county, and do that partnership. I intend to be in partnership with Steve Otto as the mayor of Payson. When I was mayor, I was able to get grants. I was able to get. I know how to do this. 10 years ago, I was the chairman of the Arizona Republican Party. I had friends I helped get elected. They are now in office. When I was mayor of the town, I was able to use those friendships to get resources for the Payson PD. I worked in partnership with Senator Sinema and got over $40 million in grants to treat our forests, especially the forests around C.C. Cragen water system. A lot of these things are done with phone calls, people I know. And the reason why you're able to get the resources, and I will do the same thing with the sheriff's office, the reason I was able to, of course, they trust me. They know I keep my word. And I did exactly what I said I was going to do with those, and I will do the same thing with the sheriff's department. I will get those grants. I will get that money. I know how to do it, and I am dedicated, and that's why I'm running for sheriff.
Well, speaking of phone calls, we've got one, so we're going to go right back to the phones. But, Phil, thank you very much for your question, sir. Hope that answered that for you. And good morning. Welcome to the Rim Country Forum. This is Matt. Who's on the line?
Good morning. It's Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, are you guys aware of Operation Blue Lotus in the Four Horsemen? It's seized 10,000 pounds of fentanyl and 10,000 pounds of cocaine. And there's a 2,000 increase in seizures at borders, and they arrested like 500 people. Are you guys aware of that going on at our borders?
Now, are you aware of the chemical broker that was sentenced to nearly 19 years of supplying drug cartel amounts of fentanyl and meth precursors?
You're not answering my question.
And you know, Jeff.
Are you aware of the Operation Blue Lotus and Four Horsemen?
Yeah. You know, I know you're an expert on everything, but you're wasting my time. Hang up on him, please. I am not going to pay for your airtime, Jeff. Okay, and your expertise or lack of it. I'm asking you a question that's an even bigger issue, and the reason why I bring this up is because the Marshal service that I was a part of, and the unit I was a part of, made this arrest, and somebody that lived in my the first district that I came on the job with. But I am not, and I'm going to tell you, the only phone call I won't take is from you, Jeff. You're a waste of time. But anyway, let's move forward. Are there any other phone calls?
No phone calls, but if you want to join the conversation, the phone number is 474-2427, and it looks like you do want to join the conversation. Good morning. Welcome to the Rim Country Forum. This is Matt. Who is on the line?
Yeah, you have a phone call now. This is Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, love the conversation. We know what the problem is. How do we solve the problem, gentlemen? We know why the borders are open. Because the cartels want the borders open. We know why we're corrupt politicians. Because the cartels need corrupt politicians, guys. Until we work with Mexico and take decisive action against the cartels in Mexico, and I mean decisive, guys, so they no longer exist, this is going to continue. What do you say?
Well, Bob, you answered the question. To take it a step further, we need a change in administration. I believe Donald Trump. I've seen what he has done, I believe, in full disclosure, I support the man 100%. And he will take the actions. He had it in place when he was the president. When he left office, that border exploded. And he had it totally under control. He was building the wall that would keep that control. The thing is, Mexico has to be brought into the mix, and Mexico has to cooperate with us. Right now, they are thumbing their nose at the present administration and getting away with it, and that's the problem. We're going to have to do a major cleanup with the new administration. And I believe when Trump comes in, I hope to be part of it, because the county sheriffs, all 3,300 or so of us around the country, are going to be a huge part in cleaning up the mess that has been given to this country. Ask yourself this: why do we have military age, a massive invasion of military age Chinese coming
and Syrian, I have come to believe.
And Syrians are coming. But we have military, 75% of the people coming across that border are military age. What in God's name are they doing here? Okay? I think we all know the answer to it. I just pray to God. I pray to God that we have enough time to do something about it, and that change is only going to come with a new administration, that will do what needs to be done. Our responsibility is to protect the people of this country, and in my case, protect the people of this county, and I damn well intend to do that. And I've laid out some of my plans. I'm not going to tip my hand. I don't want to put out there what I intend to do fully. But as we get further into the campaign, I will be having meetings with the powers that be to incorporate what we're going to do. And I know how to do it, and I will do it. And I hope that answers your question.
The crime is up all over our nation.
Yeah,
now,
yes.
Almost every city, especially the Democratic-run cities, okay?
Yeah.
The people that are, what's the word, where you allow illegals into your state? I can't think of it. Sanctuary cities. Thank you. You know where crime is down, guys, right now?
Well, you tell us.
Caracas, Venezuela.
Yes.
Yeah, because we've got all the criminals. We've got people coming out of their mental institutions. They're here. Have you seen the news just over the past week? The immigrants, they're killing people. They're killing babies. That woman that was jogging in Georgia, and she was killed by a 26-year-old who had been arrested and released. And that's part of the problem. They're catching and releasing and putting these people on the street. We don't know where they're going. We don't know who they are. They haven't been vetted. I mean, this is insanity.
And we're going to talk about that insanity a little bit more, Bob. I hope that I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to take care of a little business. But we are going to talk about that insanity coming up and the crime that is associated with the bleeding border here with Tom Morrissey and Steve Otto.
Experience matters. First-hand knowledge of destinations, preferred relationships with suppliers. What a difference it makes to my clients. Hi, this is Alana Wallace of Holiday Cruises and Tours. I've lived here almost 30 years, and for almost 27 years, it has been my passion to provide personal, caring service to my travel clients, taking care of all the details to help make their travel dreams come true. If you value experience for your travel dreams, call me at 928-978-1888.
Are you aware that merely possessing a last will and testament doesn't prevent the probate process? That's correct. To steer clear of probate, it's essential to take additional steps beyond having just a will. As we step into a new year filled with uncertainties, it's crucial to ensure that your loved ones won't face unnecessary complications in the event of a tragedy. The Owens Law Firm is ready to help you create a tailored estate plan that suits your individual requirements. Don't wait any longer. Reach out to the Owens Law Firm at 472-4303 to arrange a consultation or visit OwensLawAZ.com.
The KMOG Forum is so popular, and because we have more people who want to be on the forum than we can accommodate Monday through Friday, we're expanding the forum to Saturdays. Be sure to listen this Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, hosted by Payson Jason. Rim Country's local talk show, The Forum, now on Saturdays, 9 a.m., right here on KMOG.
For streaming and a forum calendar of the current month's guests, go to our website, KMOGcountry.com. The Saturday Forum is sponsored by George Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a locally owned family business since 1990.
And you're listening to the Rim Country Forum. I am Matt the Lone Wolf. I'm here with Tom Morrissey, candidate for Gila County Sheriff, and also Steve Otto, candidate for our town mayor. And Tom, before we get to this next phone call, can you share with us your contact information? So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, find out a little bit more about what you're all about, Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I have a website that's just coming up, and it's Morrissey, MORRISSEY, 2 R's, 2 S's, the number 4 Sheriff, SHERIFF.com.
And you also have a couple of appearances, is that right, coming up?
I sure do, and thank you for mentioning that. Saturday, tomorrow, actually, we will be, Sheriff Cassie, candidate for county assessor, and myself will be in Tonto Basin at the where the heck? I'll think of the building here in a second. But we're going to be in Tonto Basin, Chamber of Commerce building, at 10 a.m. We're going to be there from 10 to noon. And we're going to be meeting and greeting and mingling and laying out what we both intend to do. Then on Saturday, March 23rd, 10 a.m. to noon, I will be at Messengers. I will be there, and there will be a meet and greet and an awareness-raising presentation, also a fundraiser for my campaign at the Messengers. It was on Westerly, just south of Main Street. So from 10 to noon, we'll be at Messengers. And then later, right around that time, I think around the 22nd, as a matter of fact, for that Friday evening at 6 o'clock, we're going to be up in Pine Strawberry. Again, I say we. It'll be Shara Cassie and myself. Again, working with Shara, working with Steve, is part of my plan of partnership. We have to partner together. We have to help each other. It's a yin-yang thing. You can't have one without the other. And I'm trying to make myself. I'm going anywhere, and I'll talk to anyone at any time. I want to be accessible. I, as sheriff, will work for the people. I, as sheriff, will put together advisory committees from different parts of the county. I, as sheriff, will assign deputies to specific areas in the county. I, as sheriff, they'll have my phone number. My wife's going to kill me for saying it, but I did it when I was mayor, and the thing is, I do not work for the bureaucracy. I will not work for the bureaucracy. I will work for the people. They are the boss, and the people need to know what they need to do to support the leadership, and the people have to have the courage to take that power. We no longer have a country to save. We have a country to take back.
Indeed. And we're going to talk about taking that back right now. We got a caller on the line. Welcome to the Rim Country Forum. Who am I speaking with?
This is Rick.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
We are doing great. We're all happy. The only thing we're missing is donuts right now. But other than that, we're good.
I'll bring you a couple. But,
okay, thank you, Rick.
Let me ask you a couple of questions. No, I tell you what. Let's do this. Tell me what is the first thing, as our newly elected sheriff, that Tom Morrissey feels is the most important thing on your docket or agenda. What would you address first?
Well, what I would address first is an organizational structure in the sheriff's department, based on my experience and my knowledge, to raise the morale and the awareness of the deputies, the sworn deputies, and the rest of the department. I will use the same formula I used as the Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal, and I will get with one-on-one with each deputy, and I will do it quickly, and so that I know so that I know exactly what they face, so that I am able to bring them the resources that they need. That's the first thing. Okay.
You answered my question succinctly and right to the point, and now I want to tell you who I am. My name is Rick, and I've lived in Payson for 5 wonderful years. Our family, my wife and 3 sons and I, have been coming here since 1982. Make a real long story short, we moved back here from Montana 5 years ago to Payson, Arizona. And my friends affectionately down at that radio station
know me as Dirtbags.
My kind of guy.
And anyway, they know what it means, but you got my vote, and
thank you.
God bless you, and may your tribe increase.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the phone call. Yeah. And if you want to join the conversation, we're keeping these lines open at 474-2427. So give us a call. We have, again, former Mayor Tom Morrissey with us, and candidate for Gila County Sheriff, as well as candidate for Town Mayor Stephen Otto. So if you have a question for either one of these gentlemen, give us a call. And it looks like you are. Welcome to the forum. Who am I speaking with? Welcome to the forum. Who am I speaking with?
This is Dave.
Good morning.
Good morning. So what kind of sheriff he's going to be? Because he's hanging up on people who doesn't have the same point of him. My first question is, if you really want to be a sheriff, are you going to hang up on people when they call you in an emergency because they have different point of view?
No, Dave, let me answer that, okay? And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking to you either. But when I know the people that are calling, what their mission is to undo me. And they run around in circles, and half the time they don't know what they're talking about, and the other half the time they should just keep their mouth shut. And I'm not going to entertain a call from you either. So goodbye, Dave.
No, hold on.
No, I'm not holding on. Goodbye.
And let me kind of expound on that a little bit, because we do have what we in the business like to call instigators or pot stirrers, and we have several of those. And when you're on here and you're paying for a show, you don't want to spend your time with the pot stirrers, because it's just not, from a business stance, a very economical way to spend your money. But we're going to go back to the phones. Caller, welcome to the Rim Country Forum. Who do I have on the line?
Good morning. This is Joe.
Good morning, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Good morning. Hey, what are you going to do as far as, there's so much drugs you're saying out there, and there's all types, and they're going into our schools and things like that. I don't know if you know right now if they have enough, but does all the sheriffs and cops have the antidote for the fentanyl, with them? And do they have caseworkers now? Because they didn't have one before, and they supposedly hired one to work with the mentally handicapped, I guess you would call them, the people that have disturbed problems, that that they don't have to shoot, they can talk out of the situation or something like that. There's a lot of that going on. There's so many people that are disturbed and living on the streets, and you know that yourself, Tom, because you run a warming center. So we need to do more things to help the people, because it happens to the best of families. It happens to lawyers, cops. It happens in their families. They get a hold of it, they go downhill, and and so we have to start with the families and the people in our town and help them out if they get into a situation. And you might want to teach these cops and these sheriffs martial arts, because all that they know how to do is pull a gun sometimes, And so there's a lot of things you can do before you can pull a gun, and that's on all sides. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents, and good luck, Tom. You got my vote.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's a very good question and a great subject. You mentioned that I was involved in founding the Warming Center. I don't run it, but I'm on the board of directors now. But I am very, very much. I feel an empathy for people who are without shelter and living on the street. And there's a lot of times in law enforcement, and I ran into it many times when I was a deputy marshal, where you can't assume something when you meet a challenging situation or you meet challenging people. You have to figure out a way to let that gun be your last resort, not your first resort. And that's the way I did business then. I believe that we can always use more training, law enforcement, so that we're able to deal with things in a more viable way and a more realistic way. There are a lot of challenges, especially with the proliferation of drugs. And people, homeless people, in a lot of cases have mental issues. In a lot of other cases, they have addiction issues. But they a lot of them are just looking for help. They don't know how to ask for it. it. And the last thing that a law enforcement officer should do is the last resort is pulling a gun. When you know, as I said, I'm a lifetime martial artist. I learned how to use the arts to lower the angst in people. I mean, you can talk people down. There's techniques you can use, especially when people are kind of off the page. You can do that, and I've employed those techniques. And in the Marshal Service, when you make an arrest, you tell somebody they're under arrest. It's very traumatic, and they react in different ways. But there's ways to come at people, and you always need to come at them with respect. You always have to. You don't talk to people like they're dogs, because if you do, they're going to act like it. But if you can talk with them, you can reason with them. That's your first approach. Okay. The only time that there should be weapons introduced is when somebody you're coming at has a weapon. And you're in danger of losing your life or some innocent party's life. Okay, but you have to. It's like being a quarterback. You have to make a split second decision. But that decision should always be based on as much training as you have, and an understanding of what you're doing. The thing is to protect and serve, not protect and shoot. Okay, and the thing, and believe me, I've been in situations. I've been in gun battles when I was in the Marshal Service. It's a scary thing to hear a bullet whistle by your ear, or to see somebody coming at you with a knife.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is. But the thing is, you have to. It's a split second thing. But the training, you can never have enough training. The training and the conditioning will help. But I absolutely believe that the gun should be the last resort. But you should always protect your life and you protect the gun, protect the badge,
absolutely,
protect the community. But,
Joe had asked, with all the fentanyl going around, do you have the antidote? Do you carry the antidote, or the officers carrying the antidote? I assume he's speaking about Narcan. But I have the antidote. Why don't we have them, when we make that traffic stop, sample copious amounts of their own product and solve the problem? We're going to come back here on the Rim Country Forum with some more questions for candidate for Sheriff Tom Morrissey. Stay tuned.
Old or even newer roofs can receive damage for many reasons, be it last winter's storms, summer's monsoons, and gusting winds so common here in Rim Country, or just plain aging. The experts at Roof King will be glad to check out your roof at no charge and even help negotiate with your insurance company. You can trust Roof King to be honest, dependable, and fair. Give them a call now before this year's storms join you inside. 928-297-3757.
Roof King, where they treat you and your family like royalty.
It's tax season, and H&R Block is here to make it a season worth celebrating. Whether you choose to file in person, virtually, or via drop-off, you'll get upfront, transparent pricing and expert help from tax pros that average a decade of experience. Plus, H&R Block's max refund guarantee means you'll ring in the season by getting every dollar you deserve. File your way with H&R Block, and tax season will feel just as good as all your favorite seasons. All tax situations are different. Not everyone gets a refund. Limitations apply. See hrblock.com/guarantees.
Hi, this is Leonard Tacker at your local H&R Block office located at 126 East Highway 260 in the Bashas Mall.
928-474-4577.
Alliant Gas Pinnacle Propane is Rim Country's longest-running propane company and number one source for safe, reliable propane service and delivery throughout the area. Their many dedicated and experienced customer service representatives are ready to assist you 7 to 5 p. Monday through Friday with after-hours on-call and emergency service readily available. Propane is safe, economical, and environmentally friendly. Alliant Gas Pinnacle Propane, 474-2294. Remember, be safe and call 811 before you dig. The Dana Law Group will educate and guide you through the entire estate planning process. Wills, trusts, power of attorney, and probate representation. You know estate planning is important. Don't put it off. Having a proper estate plan means your assets will be dispersed according to your wishes. Consultation is free. The Dana Law Group, 431 South Beeline Highway. Set your mind at ease. Don't wait. Call them today. Dana Law Group, 928-445-4440.
All right, and welcome back to the Rim Country Forum, or you know what? It's a beautiful 45 degrees here at the Radio Ranch, and we're going to go right back to the phones. Caller, thank you for joining us on the Rim Country Forum. This is Matt. Who am I speaking with?
This is Frank. Quick couple of questions. Are the deputies all going to be wearing body cameras and car cameras?
Yes, they should be. That not only protects the public, it protects the deputies.
Okay, next, what is your policy going to be on releasing those videos when requested?
That will be determined per case, but I believe in total transparency. So I will always err on the side of transparency. The public, the people deserve transparency, and I was transparent certainly as mayor, and I will be as sheriff. You will know what I'm doing. And
now, one other thing. I understand it takes like 2 years to get a barber's license. It takes about 6 months or less to get a police officer's license. You're talking about more training. Why don't we get with the government and get them to make it a 2-year training so that they get plenty of training so we don't have so many bad shootings, bad arrests, violations of people's civil liberties, etc.
Well, I can only do what I can do as sheriff, and I will make it.
As a mayor and as a sheriff, you would have pull with the people up in the power seats up in the Capitol.
The powers that be, I may or I may not, but I will do everything I can to have the highest level of service to the public, and whatever that takes, I will employ. I will do everything I possibly can, and then some. I hope that answers that for you.
Pretty well, thank you.
Thank you so much for the phone call.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we are running against the top of the hour, so I'd like to give you just a minute to cover anything that you would like to cover before we wrap things up.
Steve?
Well, I'm going to be at the candidates it's coffee, cookies, and candidates tomorrow at the Rim Country Republican Committee's headquarter building. It's going to be noon to 3.
Now, Steve, is that the one over there by the auto glass shop, or is that
yes,
the other
it's
one?
by the auto glass shop.
Right off the behind there.
Yes. And on March 9th, there's going to be a rally for life, sidewalk protest, rain or shine. There's going to be pro-life activists there from Payson and around the state. They have a number of speakers lined out to comment to the people that are there trying to protect the rights of those who can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
So, show up. That rally is going to be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's March 9th, 2024.
Yeah. I'd just like to thank you, and thank you for listening, and with the exception of a couple of callers, thank you for calling in. I want to remind you that my website is Morrissey4sheriff.com. And if you would consider donating to my campaign, I got to get the message out. That's expensive doing. And be in Tonto Basin tomorrow morning at 10 with Sheriff Cassie at the Chamber of Commerce. And then I have an awareness meeting, a public awareness meeting on Saturday, March 23rd at Messengers at 10 a.m., 10 to noon. So come on by. Folks, we are facing things that we never dreamed we'd face. And we need to have the leadership. We don't need the swamp. We don't need the bureaucracy. We need the people in charge. And that is why I'm running for sheriff, because I work for you, the people. God bless you.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. Great show. And I know we had a couple calls come in we couldn't get to. So if you would like to ask those questions, we just told you where these gentlemen will be. So go on and see them, ask those questions. I'd like to thank you both. I'd like to thank the Colonel, Kenny Murphy, for allowing me to sit in here for him while he's out. And I'd also like to thank our sponsors, the Owens Law Firm, HS3 Roof King, Pinnacle Propane, Banner Payson Medical Center, the Dana Law Group, Peak Dermatology, Aesthetics, and Wellness. And your server next on the diner is Chuck in the Morning, my buddy. Enjoy, and God bless.
Serving all of Rim Country, Gila County's #1 rated full power commercial radio station, KMOG Payson. Welcome to the Forum, your way to keep up with state and community leaders, experts in local